Introduce myself before we go any further. Many of you know me, but I'm Mary Hope Rennie. I'm the team leader at KW Metropolitan in Bedford, New Hampshire, not the one in Boston. And I have, as I mentioned, I've been in real estate for 16 years, mostly as a single agent. In 2019, and a decent high producing agent. Um, and I forgot to say, I have six kids currently now, 14 to how old is Maria Abel? 26, and my second grandbaby on the way. So I juggled a lot, but it was a very successful career. I was very blessed. And in 2016, I went to my team leader and said, I'm burnt out. You know, I'm doing fine. I can get the business at this point because I'd been in it long enough. And he's like, "Well, are you doing your best work?" And I said, "Well, no, because I'm burnt out." And he said, "Hire a full-time admin." I hired a full-time admin and doubled my business. Um, and that's how it works when you follow systems. That's a big system, right? And so many things we hear these systems, especially in Ignite, about lead generation. This is the system, and we don't like to do the boring or the what seems almost simple. Oh, that was scary to me to hire a full-time admin. Um, I was a stay-at-home mom, is the way I thought of it. And so I did that, and then I decided I probably wanted to go south in the winter when my kids got older. You can't do that in real estate because your business stops. So I built a team. And then I was about 2.5 years ago, our team leader asked me to consider taking on the role. And I said no. And here I am. I've been in the role for a little over a year. And it's been the most difficult and most rewarding job. Way harder than raising six kids. So, because I'm now raising 405 five agents. So that's my story. Val, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
um, Known as Auntie Val around here. So she does the mothering. I get to be the fun auntie and the one that does this as the former teacher. So, yeah,
And we both do
I
that
love our
now.
team. Yeah. Love our team. I love our family. I was just talking with a couple of the agents prior to, and can't think of a better place than KW to build a career. Glad I made the jump after retiring from teaching, and so glad to see all your faces today. So thanks for being here.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for being willing to jump in here during Labor Day weekend. So perfect. Okay, so I am going to try, and now Val, you're gonna have to be my eyes once I move on to my screen. And we're gonna just kind of go through it. Again, like I don't have access to my mouse, and I don't know why once I go to the other screen. So you're just gonna have to be patient with me. I'm gonna try to make it work. But this one, more than anything, there's not as many technical things. So I want you to kind of be just listening, and I would love interaction because I think um, the more we share, the more open we can figure out, and it's a lot easier for me to not just talk. I mean, I like talking, but I don't like talking by to myself. So I need your participation. So, okay, before I let's go. Let me share my screen. Okay, yes, see, it's already gonna move me. I'm gonna try to move back to this. Okay, let's try this. You guys can see my screen? Okay. So this class is going to be about planning your future. So you've been talking about a lot of the technical things. Um, and now we want to kind of look at a little bit bigger picture. And that's why I chose this session because I think none of these technical things matter if you don't know where you're going. So we're going to kind of step back a little bit in this session. And like I said, I can only see five of you. And two of those are myself and Val. So I can only see three of you. So just jump off or Val, if you see someone, just call them out and interrupt me. So, Okay. You know all the TCPA, blah, 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 right? Okay. Don't call anybody on the do not call list, do not call list, do not call list. I've been told that KW gets 7 to 8 lawsuits on this TCPA rule a day. A day. Don't let that be you. End of story. There you go. That's mine. There you go. All of the disclaimers. Just follow the rules of what your license holds. Okay? So you have been going through this whole course, right? This is a lot that you've gone through, and you guys have done this every day. So it's a lot and it's overwhelming. However, we've gotten all the way to the end. And I think last week you didn't get to do the whole thing, but it was talking about the closing. So we've negotiated, we've gotten the buyers, we've gotten the sellers, we've negotiated, we've gotten to closing, we've gone through the whole transaction. And I also know, just to say this, and I'm sure the other teachers, if you haven't done a deal yet, a lot of this is only going to make sense once you sit there and do the deal. So don't be afraid to ask for help from your leadership, from your mentors, from other agents, top agents in your office. That is the way we do it at KW. It's not a competition. We want to help you. So what I've seen with new agents is they participate and you learn it all and it's all in your head. When you do it on paper, it's a whole different thing. So don't be afraid to ask. So you know the steps: lead generation, lead follow-up, transaction. It sounds simple, it seems boring. That is our business: lead generation, lead follow-up, and transaction. Everything else is noise. Everything else is pretty. Everything else is fun. That's not making you money. If you're not doing lead generation, lead follow-up, and transaction, that is your main business. Okay? So now we're going to start talking about, again, the big picture. Set your sights on a big future. And then we're going to move on to a few things. We're going to talk about money. We're going to be talking about habits. We're going to be talking about learning. We're going to talk about all the big things. It's a lot, but jump in if you have a question. Okay, here's a quote. How you think matters. How you think in the beginning really matters. I'm going to say that again. How you think matters. I think we have someone in the waiting room too, just so you know that. How you think matters. How you think in the beginning really matters. Someone jump off mute and tell me what that means.
Maybe mindset. Like if we have a certain mindset from the beginning, like I'm actually trying to shift mine right now
Mm.
to for my coach down here because I'm in Florida. I don't know if everyone knows I'm in
Oh,
Ocala.
okay.
Yeah, so
We're
I
in
have
Florida.
in Ocala
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Central, and I love it. So I'm licensed in Mass, licensed in Florida because I was born in Mass, and that's where my sphere of influence is. But
Yeah.
because I'm a farm, born and raised on a farm, I have a bunch of people that come down here and are looking
Yeah.
for certain properties.
Yeah.
But yeah, just shifting kind of your mindset onto what if you're scared to ask people for their business, or when I was a horse trainer, I didn't I was just it's only us on here, but I was really good at it. So I didn't have to go out and
Yeah.
solicit business because it just came to me, right? So I worked with that for 20 years and I never had to ask for business. I was always kind of picking who I wanted to work with, what horses I wanted to train, so now I have a lot of people in my database, which I just started putting into the system. And I know I'm been a little late on that, but just thinking that people are going to come to me
Mm.
naturally and think,
Yeah.
what I mean, oh, Jamie's doing real estate. Well, I'm new at it. And so just kind of getting that set up and moving forward with it. One
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask you about
Yeah.
the contacts, right? So I'm putting my contacts from my iPhone, I'm uploading that. When you send like a biweekly um, letter to them, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's text, or is something on my phone gonna trigger from our KW command saying, nope, they're not on the do not call list? Or is that why we're getting so many?
Then you won't automatically get that in command. So you need to go check that, scrub that. A lot
Mhm.
of, if you're buying leads, a lot of times you'll see that they say that they scrub it. Um, But you need to make sure that now, if you're in relationship with that person and you've had contacts and they're giving you the okay and you're doing business, that's different.
Right. Well, these are some, I mean, I have like vets, right? Vets from that I worked with
Yeah.
for over the years, and doctors and
Mm.
and just I don't know, attorneys, and then just regular people that who knows what their job is. So I just want to make sure, there's 1,400 contacts in there that is something gonna happen where I'm gonna have one of those,
I
or do
would,
they?
I would, I would pull up the do not call list information. I think there's the website. I'm not, I work from the sphere of people I know, so I'm not doing it on a regular basis.
Right.
Val, do you have any more information on that? I know I'm throwing you under the bus here, but
So yes and no. You go to the site, you put in, I think there's like free site for can get so many
yeah.
for free. I often say, okay, if they're in your phone, there was a relationship and there was something happened where you guys exchange that information, but give them the opportunity to opt out.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like the unsubscribe at the bottom.
Correct.
I'm hoping maybe AI can like scan it for me eventually and
Yeah.
say
Right.
they're on the do not
Give it
call list.
2 days and it will do that for you. It's that fast. It's growing that fast, right?
Exactly. Well, so
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for that
Yeah.
information.
No, that's good. And I think, Jamie, like you said it, you're like, "Ooh, I'm late to the game." The sooner we can kind of get our eyes fixed on what we want, the less noise there is that's going to get us distracted. Like you said, you had a certain mindset. It's not a bad mindset, but it wasn't accurate in your situation right now, right? And so surrounding yourself with people that can give you, this is what we need to do. Also, a lot of this, and I can say this, and I was blessed to have a very big sphere that I worked. I was not very systematic. I was able to grab business without tons of systems in place. That was just me. And I wish I had started it earlier, right? Like, so the sooner you can get your mindset and your head in the right place, the sooner you can, move forward. So good. Okay. Mindset matters. What's your mindset? Do you have a mindset? We all have a mindset, right? We can have a positive mindset. We can have a negative mindset. We can have a mindset that I can do anything, which is also not reality, too. What is your mindset? Or it could be like, I can't ever do this, right? I've been in the business 3 months and I have not gotten a single person to sign. That's your mindset, right? You're convincing yourself that it's not going to work. There's facts. Is that your mindset? No. Your mindset is what you're telling yourself about it. Is your mindset aligned with your heart? And are you ready to take action and have a successful day? So, um, for me, a mindset, to be very honest, is quieting the noise. To be very honest, mindset is getting rid of all the noise so I can really say, okay, what are my goals? What do I want? And being able to control that because there's so many distractions in our life. I'm guessing many of you have another job. That's why you're here in the evenings. When you're getting ready to work your job, what are you doing to put your head in the right space? We're such reactionary beings. And I think that's probably one of our hardest things we have to battle right now in our time because we are always being distracted. And so, mindset, yes, mindset matters. That's great. We have a great mindset. We're positive. It matters because we have so many distractions, and our mind is not even clear enough to know what is important to us. And I think so many times we take on thoughts or opinions because that's what everybody else is doing. That's because everybody's saying that. However, we have not quieted ourselves down enough to know and to know ourselves and to align our goals with who we are, not who we think everybody is. Um, we could go on and on about mindset, but I do a podcast with our agents once a week, and most are top agents. And you look at them, and what does top agent mean, right? That could be 10 transactions, that could be 60, that could be 100, that could be a whole team doing 1,000. What does success mean? But a lot of people look at them and say, oh, this business is easy, right? It's easy. And they're always getting deals. Why am I not getting there? We're just presuming something. We don't remember. Most of them made no money their first year and struggled in the second year. We had one of our top agents was the rookie of the year the first year, then did 4 transactions the next year. We put a lot of opinions on who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to act because we're just seeing it through very narrow reactory things. So I feel like that's so much to me a part of what mindset is living in the reality of who we are and being present of what we want, not just in a very subjective, but what is important to us, and slowing and quieting the noise to be able to focus on that. So
If I can add what you're
good.
saying there about slowing and quieting the noise, to me, how I interpret that is we consume so much information, right? And so are the things we're consuming feeding us?
Yeah.
These classes we've been doing for the month, the books that everyone recommends, the podcasts, the quotes that we read, all those sorts of things sharpen that mindset. That's what I've found. That's your question about what's the one thing that we've gotten out of this so far. That's probably the one thing I've gotten is how to focus myself in.
That's really good, because so many times we think we don't need other people to help us train and habituate. Our brains are habituated just like everything else. It has to grow. Our mindset has to grow. It needs to be habituated. If you've always been a negative person, right? You're always complaining, and you decide today, I'm not going to be negative anymore. Do you think that mindset starts immediately and tomorrow you're going to be a positive person? No, because you've habituated yourself to think that way. And we think we can just make a decision about something. Our mind needs habits, just like your schedule, just like your systems. Your brain needs to be aligned and keep on doing it. And like you said, if we're getting all these distractions, it's going to be really hard to stay aligned. So, okay, let's try to move, and it's not letting me move. Let's try this. There we go. Good. Okay. I'm guessing we've probably brought this up in other classes, but I'm not sure. Have you talked about our belief system in any of the classes, Drew? Because I can see your face.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is not brand new. And we won't have Val do her dance. Val does have a dance to go with this. And I truly believe that if you understand this and live this daily, you will be one of the best agents out there. So win-win or no deal. It's not a competition. It's not beating and killing the next agent to get that deal in. That's never going to win the deal. It's never going to give you long-term business. Win-win or no deal. We are always working together as co-brokes, as client and the agent, as different brokerages. We need to be working collaborative. Integrity, do the right thing. That's pretty obvious. We don't expect less than doing the right thing. Customers always come first. I know that sounds cheesy and duh, and yet sometimes we disagree with our customers and clients. They hire us. We need to treat them that way. Commitment. These clients are paying you a lot of money to help them in the transaction. You need to be committed to that. And if you're not willing to give them the time and energy they need, you shouldn't be in this business. I know it's hard sometimes, juggling another job, especially. Yet you need to know and decide if you're willing to commit to this. Communication is my core beliefs of communication in my transactions. That is, I think, the greatest skill, that if you can figure out good communication, which that's what it says. It doesn't just say communicate. We can communicate a lot of the wrong things. Seek first to understand. That means you're listening and then speaking. That means you're listening to the other agents. You're seeking first to understand before you judge the situation. You're going to become such a good agent if you can start listening and hearing your clients, hearing the co-brokes, hearing those around you. It's a skill that a lot of agents lack right now because we're in such a fast-paced world. It's unbelievable how many people are amazing with their clients. And this is kind of my little side thing preaching to you, but they're wonderful with their clients and they don't give co-brokes the time of day. That will not make you a good agent long term. I can tell you that because of my relationship with other agents and treating them with the respect. They might be like, oh shoot, she's gonna be on the other deal. She's not gonna mess around. I'm not easy and I just don't roll over, but I'm gonna treat them with respect and I'm gonna be honest and I'm not gonna try to be shady. I'm gonna communicate. I'm gonna let them know what's going on. I'm gonna listen to them, and that's gonna be your greatest skill. Creativity, ideas before results. Um, in this new shifty market, you're gonna need to be creative. You're going to have to slow down enough to say, how can I help this client? If they were my daughter, if they were me, what would I be doing to make this work? If you truly want to help them. Teamwork. That's kind of a given too. And I hope you guys lean on your market centers and your mentors because it is a team effort. It's not a competitive game. We might be competing against each other in offers, but it's not a competitive game. Trust. You have to be honest. Even if you lose money on it, you have to be honest all the time. Equity, opportunities for all. Absolutely. I believe that's what the beauty of the real estate. It puts us all on the same level playing field. You have so many opportunities. Not everybody chooses it, but it's there for you. And success is results through people. You're not going to be able to do this business if you don't work through people and allow other people to help you through this business. You can't do it on your own. So, any big things on that or questions? Okay.
I think
Mm,
we gotta
yeah,
get Val to go viral with that dance on TikTok because there's no way I can remember all of those.
there you go. Okay. Well, she has some goals, let's just say, and you might see it sooner than you might
And now
plan.
you're going to be one of the dancers.
There you go. Sorry. You just did that to yourself, Drew. Okay, because I can only see my part of my screen. Okay. You guys should have worked through value propositions. We're revisiting those. Did anybody write those down, your value proposition? Did you work on it? I can't see all of you. Okay. If you haven't, this is the time to revisit again, but I want you to just think about this. Does my value proposition truly reflect who I am, the value I bring, and the benefit of my clients, the benefit my clients will experience working with me? Am I confident sharing my value proposition with my contacts? If not, how can I make it easier to express my value? I think if you don't know what you bring to the table, you're going to have a very hard time selling real estate because you're not selling real estate. We call it selling real estate. You're selling yourself. You're not selling real estate. You're not someone's either going to buy or sell. You're selling yourself and what value you can give them. And if you don't know what value you give, then how are you supposed to sell yourself to other people? What is it that you want in an agent? If you were going to hire an agent, what is important to that you? If you figure out what would be important to you if you were hiring an agent, that's probably the same as what you would be giving value because you find that important. I think, Drew, you should have the cleaners in the back doing a dance or something. So, okay. So if you're not confident, take some time. We're now at the end. You have had so much, but slow it down. This is kind of revisiting the highlights of the whole class. You need to know your value proposition. I don't care if you don't know exactly all the contracts. You'll figure that out. You'll have your mentors to help you. But if you can't tell people why you're doing this and what you can provide to them, then you're just another person able to open a door. Jason Abrams was saying that to us at a live thing and during Bold the other day. He said, people don't care who opens the door for them. As long as you have the keys, you open the door, right? Like, really. So if you don't have a relationship with that person and they don't see any value that with you than opening a door, they will have somebody else open that door because you might one day might not be able to show it to them in 5 minutes, right? So if you have not explained your value to them and shown it to them, if you don't know it, you're going to put a lot of work into clients that are not going to close with you. So I think that's a really important thing. Okay. Ooh, see, we're doing all the big stuff. Revisit your big life, your vision, your future, your big life. Okay. One thing all high achievers have in common is they are working for a big why. The big why is about having a purpose, a mission, or a need that in turn gives you focus. What does that mean to somebody? One thing all high achievers have in common is they are working for a big why. The big why is about having a purpose, a mission, or a need that in turn gives you focus. Is a big why, I want to do 30 transactions? No, that's not a big why, right?
Big Y
The
is
trans.
bigger than,
Go ahead, Bruce.
Big Y is what basically has you get out of bed every day.
Mm-hmm.
You set your goal where you want to end, and then you build your steps to get there.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what your big why is, Bruce? Working on
Yes.
it. Okay.
No, I have it.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Well, my big Y is to build an enterprise for my family.
There you go.
So we're 2 businesses started. I got 5 more to go. And Keller Williams is a huge part of the next 3.
Okay, there you go. Do you see how clear that makes your life? I would even, and this is only just to challenge it to go even deeper. Why a big empire for your family? Like even, right? Why a big empire?
Well, I just need them to have, like everybody, you always want your kids to have more than you do. But for me, what's bigger than that is to make sure that if they fall down, it's a lot easier to pick yourself back up when you have 4 or 5 businesses already set up that are running that you can just take part in. And even if you don't want to take part in, they're still going to be running themselves in the background. So
I like it. I like it. Anyone else? I'm gonna go to the next slide. Again, like I said, I only see 3 of you. So, okay. Why do we say it's a big why? The big is because you are after extraordinary results. Extraordinary is something bigger than a number, right? It's making you a better version of you. And the reason I was kind of pushing Bruce a little bit is, for me, what I've learned is, as I've gone through this so many times, my biggest why, bigger than even my kids, bigger than my husband, bigger than my family. It has to be, because they're going to disappoint me. There's people are going to, what is my big why? What is my mission? Of course, my family, for me personally, is a big part of that. But what can I give to the world? Part of that is my family, and raising, like you said, Bruce, to give them the opportunity to have even better than you have. That is giving something to the world. But I think everyone has something that even deeper. And part of that for me, like you said, the why, the reason you get up every day is to bring value to other people, to bring hope to other people, because that in turn fills me. That's a get expanding. You see how I got it bigger, bigger than my, because you have to have a why even when you're have only one transaction, right? A big why could be doubling that to two. That's not a big why. That's a big goal, right? Big goals. So what is it that you want to be remembered for when you pass away? I remember, we could go on and this. I've done a lot of work on this, and this is why I was able to also double my business, because when it clicked, it made sense, and I was able to pour into people at a higher level. Um, what was I going to say about that? But there was something that I was going to say, and I just,
I think you were talking about maybe leaving a legacy or
thank you. Oh, there you go. There you go.
you're
Thank you
welcome.
so
It
much,
kind of
Jamie.
struck a thing with me, so that's good.
Yeah. So some of you may have heard of this, and it maybe seems strange, but have you ever thought of what your family, what your children, what your people around you would say at your eulogy? I know that seems morbid. Those aren't things that we did usually. It's the thing, how we were. And a lot of times when I would write that down, and I do that about once a year, just so you know, because we're always growing. So I haven't figured it all out. But the more that I do it, it's much less tangible, right? What do you want your kids to have felt when they were around you? What about those people who have you served? Did they become better people because you were in their presence? When they, if they're talking about you when you have passed, what are they seeing? And what I've come to find out many times is I'm like, oh man, I'm not there yet. I'm not giving that. They couldn't say that about me yet. I'm sure we all have that, right? That's the big things in our lives, right? Like and sorry, I don't know if you can hear. My grandson is running around behind me, so my apologies. He's in the other room, but my daughter is babysitting him. But that's part of it, is that how do they see me? How am I bringing them, making them better people because of who I was? So, that's just my interpretation of it. Everybody's is a little different. Um, but when you start thinking big whys, how can I impact so many people's lives? And who are those people? It can be specific, big, right? If you have, I'm thinking of you, Jamie, your love of horses. What is that, right? What are the joys in your life that bring you joy that you could give to other people? And how are you going to make those things into a big life for you? And a lot of times it's most importantly for those around you, like Bruce said. Okay. Any ahas? I'm gonna try to stop sharing that for a second. I want to see everybody's faces for a little bit. Anything?
I've always had that, from the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Like, I've always thought that, like, what am I going to leave behind? What's going to be said? And it's so funny that you say that, because I've thought that for probably 50 years. Just once I first saw that movie. And I do think that about my clients too. I always wonder, like, what are they going to say when I'm not in the room? That's really huge.
Cool. Any last things? I'll share the screen again, but I just wanted to see everybody's faces. I hate talking to no screen, so okay. Let's try this again. Okay. Now we're getting into practical stuff. If I can do this. Okay, have a smart money business. Okay. So, I think you've gone over these, but these are the core competency. These are the things you have to do in a business, right? You have to lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. You have to present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. You have to show buyers and market sellers, write and negotiate contracts, coordinate the sale to closing, and manage the money. I think we've kind of gone over it and over it, but that's what your core competency. Looking at these, everybody write down the one thing that they might need to work on a little bit. Just write it down on your papers for your sake. Because that's where you should be going to learn something or asking someone or going back to the classes and the paperwork, right? Of that, going to your mentor. But we're going to talk about managing money. It's the great myth of realtors that we make a lot of money. The office gets a large check at a closing. That doesn't mean you make a lot of money. When a business brings in their money, it has to be dispersed in so many different ways, right? It goes to the building that they're renting, the products they're selling, the employees they're hiring, the taxes, all of that. And we understand that. Yet in real estate, when we see a commission, ours are about 11 or 12, depending on where you are. It might be a lot higher in Boston. Florida, it's going to be a little less. We see if it's a commission of 12,000, we think we made $12,000. But you didn't. And I think the sooner, I know that sounds blunt, sooner you realize that, the sooner you're not going to get, if you learn that from the beginning, you're not going to get yourself into the financial pickle that so many realtors get themselves into. I would love to know the percentage of agents that go into bankruptcy. That sounds terrible. It's a reality because we get big chunks of money that seems like they're ours. And then usually it's taxes that kills us. So you're going to get your first check. Your market center is getting the money. They're going to take their percentage, and then you're going to get for whatever it is, and then you're going to get money. However, there's three more things. You own a business. You have business expenses. They might be not very big right now. And yet, how you have to be building this business, so it's going to cost you money to build a business. And then you have taxes. So I think, I'm not sure how this one works fully, but look at, they're going to show you. There you go. But they're going to even show less. That's how much money you make. You should. You should be putting money in savings. You should be putting it in for your expenses and taxes. So I think that, oh, they're even showing it even less. So what they're showing here is what most agents do with their money. On the left, you sold commission of $9,000. You got a check written out to the order of Jessica Campbell for $57.60. Woohoo! Let's go shopping. It goes into your personal bank account, and then it goes into your wallet. The other side is you sold $9,000 commission, paid to the order of Jessica for $57.60. You're going to put $1,728, which I'm not sure what their percentages are, but it's probably like 20 to 30%, into a business bank account. Then you're going to put the rest into the personal, which is $4,000. From there, in the personal, you're going to put $1,600 into taxes. Because the taxes are state. Remember, you're an independent contractor. So you're going to have state and federal tax. You Massachusetts people will have the state. We don't have the state. And then you have self-employment tax. You see how much they're saying that you should see from a $9,000 commission? $2,400. I know that sounds a little grim, but if you're running it as a business, and I think that's the biggest thing. If you have a big why, a big reason you're doing this, as Bruce was saying, this is business 2 out of 5, right? Or whatever that is. You need to run it as a business, or it's not going to last more than a few commissions. Because when those stop, let's say you don't have a closing 1 month and you have expenses that build, you're still going to have to pay those. If you hire an admin, you're still going to have to pay them even when there's not a commission. I talk to I always give the example that several years into my business, I was probably doing about 32 transactions. I have no idea how much that was because the average list price was a lot less. When I started in '09, the average home sale price was 200,000. So you're welcome. You just over doubled it now. So you're making double the commission that I made starting out. But several years in, I think it was when I was building a team, I'm like, I remember going to my team leader and saying, my business, something went wrong this year. I didn't do any closings in January. I was not a numbers person. He had pulled up my multi-year trend, which, just so you know, you have. After you do a year of business, it's a multi-year trend. It shows you what you did last year versus this year on all your deals. Every year for about 5 years, I had either January or February, didn't have a closing. Every year, one of those. And I still did 32 transactions. Do you see where mindset too and facts and reality? I really felt that I dropped the ball that year. However, I felt it because I hadn't saved money to cover me. I knew it was coming, but I saw the money before and didn't plan. There are going to be months you're not going to make money. Even if you're an amazing agent, I was doing 32 transactions year after year. And yet January or February, I wouldn't do any transactions. So more than most, and
Sorry.
especially, oh,
What'd you do with all the money?
oh, I have 6 kids. And Christmas. It's true, right? Like,
You find
especially
something to
when
spend it on? I know. Like something, it all of a sudden you can spend. It's bizarre.
it's amazing. And
I
it
didn't
might
mean
have
to
gone
interrupt
into,
you. I'm sorry.
no, I'm glad. I couldn't tell if you were talking or if it was someone unmuted, so I couldn't tell. No, I think that's really important. And January and February are usually slower months. And you have to realize that. December is an expensive month for most people in some way. Don't be blindsided by a nice commission check in November and think you're going to have one in December, January, and February. Pull that aside immediately. Immediately, at least 20% for taxes, 25 probably. We put that immediately. It doesn't even ever go into our account. We put 10% to savings, 20% into our business account because we have an admin we have to pay. We just don't even look at it, and then the rest comes to us. Or we have taxes, business expense, savings, tithing. We put a tithing. We put it all out. Do you see how small that goes? And then you're talking about real stuff. It's still your money, usually in other accounts. But now you're not stressing. So money is relative too. I love this. Money is good for the good it can do. You can have a lot of money and not be happy because you don't have it going to bring what good it can do. And money can also do the opposite, right? And that's why we're the stewards of that money, and we need to do, if you have your values, your big why, when you understand what the good it can do, your goals are going to start getting bigger and bigger. Because the more that you see you can affect people with your money, not how much more I can get and what I can buy and what other house, but when you can see what effect your money can have on other people, I usually can do bigger goals for other people. Sometimes I have a hard time doing it for myself. It's amazing what money can do. Okay, so let's see. So back to the fun stuff about expenses. Again, Val, if anybody has questions and stuff, yell at me. Is there anything? All good? Okay. So this is what most people do with the flow of money. Income comes in, then your expenses, then the profit is what's left, right? But what if we think about it this way? What do you want your profit? I bet Bruce has a big number, has a number in his mind already because he sounded pretty clear. Then you know your expenses from that. How can I maximize expenses so to maximize net income? From there, you then decide how many homes do I have to sell. You see how a difference, like, well, let's see how much money I can make. And then you react. And that's where you usually spend your money because you're like, oh, I doubled my income to this month. But if you have goals, you're not going to react to it. You're going to plan it out. And when those come in, you're going to be like, okay, I'm 5 houses out of 10 that I need. And it's already July or August. Oh, okay. I'm still doing, it feels really good because I have money in my account, but I'm behind on my goals to get me to where I needed my money to go. It's a business. If you were running someone else's business, you'd have to answer every month. Well, here was our goal. But if our goal is not for a bigger reason more than a goal, a lot of us do, ooh, I did 5 last year. I'm going to do 10 this year. That sounds like a good goal, right? I'm going to do better than last. I'm going to double my business. If there is no why to that, it means nothing. It means nothing because why would you work double hard if you don't have a reason why, right? Especially when you get a lot of no's. The more you do, the more no's you're going to get too, right? Okay, back to the numbers. Wait, let me find cost of sale. Okay. These are just things to make sure you understand about your business. And have you guys gone over numbers before and expenses? I don't know if you have this time. Okay. The cost of sale, you have cost of sale and operating expenses in your business. And it's really good for you to calculate this because especially if you're going to, most market centers do a business planning clinic, which is to plan your next year. We do ours in October. You want to understand the difference or you're going to get a little confused. So cost of sale is the cost or expenses related to each transaction you make. The cost of making that sale. Meaning they're just to that sale. For example, the commission, right? You don't get charged a commission taking money from the market. The market center doesn't take money unless you have a commission. So that's directly connected to your sale. Royalty fees, the 6%, that's directly related to your sale. Commissions or splits paid to employees or independent contractors. So that's if you have a transaction coordinator, right? They get paid out of that closing. They don't get paid unless it happens. And referral fees. If you're getting a referral, Jamie, from Massachusetts, that's going to be a cost of sale. You're paying that out. So you're not going to even see that before you get it. Okay. Operating expense, the cost or expenses related to running your business. And these are the ones you have to really be careful with. You should really try to keep as much on the cost of sale when you're starting out and not very much on the operating expenses to begin with, right? Because you're going to get stuck if you don't have a sale transaction. So that's rent. If you have rental of space, auto, you're going to be using your car, gas. It's costing you money to run the business. Salaries for admin staff, transaction coordinator if it's not connected to the cost of sale, insurance, professional services, marketing and advertising. So even photos for a house, that's a business expense. That's not a cost of sale. You're not guaranteed. It's not coming out of a closing and you only have to pay when it closes. Does that make sense? Equipment and supplies and education. Okay. Again, if you have questions, just blurt out. Okay. So best practices. This is just going over some things. Gain clarity on your big why and plans for your future. It's going to make all these numbers make more sense. Set your personal and business budgets. Open additional bank accounts for taxes, expenses, and savings. just so you know, I have completely separate accounts for all those things I separated. I have the money my business account that has my expenses. I have my tax account. They're separate and we just pull them out. I have one for an admin that gets out. I have one for tithing. I have one for savings. We've made other ones. I don't be afraid to have separate accounts, tons of separate accounts. It's the best way. It stops you from spending the money. Like just take it out of your account. Those taxes, especially if there's only one other extra account, get a tax account. Don't ever look at your tax money for 20%. At the end of the year, if you have plenty of expenses, you haven't made much money, Merry Christmas to you. You get to have your money in January when you don't have a closing. There you go. There's an MREA chart of accounts. Don't ask me where it is. There's definitely one. Purchase and download tax accounting software or hire someone. Hire an accountant, CPA, attorney. This is your business. So many people get into this business and say, oh, it's such an easy entry point, right? Yet it's going to cost you money to run a business. Set dates to calculate and pay your estimated taxes. Prepare for your future, insurance, savings, investments. If you pay your taxes yearly on time, you are far above and beyond so many top agents. I'm just telling you. Trust me. Okay. Think and act the wage you want before you earn it. Average is as average does. Good is as good does. And great is as great does. What you do is what you become. I have an example of this. The same gentleman who I interviewed on a podcast today, he wears a suit daily to the office. Daily. He shows up at 7:30 in the morning, 7 usually. And we had a whole conversation about his suit because there's not many people who wear a suit every day. And he said, that's what I was expected to do in my general manager role. He was in hotel industry. It's like, I was the general manager. I showed up in a suit. Why would I not show up in a suit? He didn't plan it at the beginning, but does farming of different areas and he door knocks often. He door knocks in his suit. The one day that I'm telling you, this is a big deal. It was too hot. So I think he just wore like shorts and a t-shirt or something. And a guy was on the phone and he's like, 1 second, I need to go meet the handyman or something like that. The person at the door, they assumed he wasn't a professional. He's never not worn that suit since then, door knocking. Be that person you want to be before you're that. That's going to also help your mindset too. This was from the book Shift, especially in a harder market. Treat your clients as if they're $1 million clients, even if they're in a mobile home. Treat everyone the same. Do the professional level. If you're making 5,000 or 80,000, you should treat that client the same and especially those who you never make money off of. I'm telling you, I have a client at the beginning of my business. So the business was 2009, so the market had just crashed. So that was lovely. I learned the hard way. It was a friend of ours. She wanted me to come and price her house. She thought it was worth $1 million. And it wasn't, but she thought probably at that time, she thought it was worth 500. It was worth like 250 or 300. It needed so much work. And I was honest with her. And I took so much time, sat with her. They never hired me. They still live in that house today. She referred me to one of my largest homes I sold. She cleaned that house. And they respected her enough that they let me in the door. And which it was like it was only a $500,000, $600,000 house. That house probably now sells for $1.5 million. Seriously, I know. However, they had no clue I had just started in the business. I was about a year in. I remember I came in with a black skirt, very professional, white blouse, heels. She didn't know I had 5 kids under 10 at that time. I showed up and I didn't know this, but I was competing against the top agent in that town. They had already started looking for homes with him. And she's like, well, I wanted to do a favor. Not only did they sell their home with me because of how I showed up dressed, they also bought the other home with me. I represent them on both parties. They've continued to be a client and refer me, and she's now my stager. Do you see showing up no matter, even if we're going to roll our eyes and say, I'm never going to get this deal? You show up the way you want to be treated and think and act your wage. You are a top producing agent. You have the ability, act that way. You have the capacity to do that. So, okay. Once again, numbers. Here's your net income goal. You have to calculate 15% of GCI. Not sure why they're company dollar and royalty cap. It would be more than that. So I'm not sure why they're saying 15%. Business expenses, about 35%, depending on where you're at. You're going to add those all together. That's going to be what you need, your gross commission income. Gross commission income is what the checks that come in, right, from the closing companies or the lawyers. That check to Keller Williams, that needs to be added up together. Then what you're going to do is you're going to figure out what so if that is, and I'm pretending numbers, if my net income goal is 250,000, it's probably going to be close to 450,000 I really need to have in gross commission income, or 500. It's about 50%, or they're saying about 45%. Take that 500,000, divide, let's say, between 10,000 for an average to make it really easy because I'm not a math person. Your annual transaction goal then needs to be 50 transactions. Did you see how I did that? I calculated not what I just wanted to make, not the 250, because a lot of people do that. It's with all the expenses, the 500 divided by your commission. Here's your annual transaction goals. Okay? Okay. Okay. Talk to your market center. Just do it the right way. Pay your commissions through command. And I'm sure all your market centers would appreciate if you submit your documents way early in advance. They're really appreciative usually. Okay? The sooner you get things in, the sooner you get paid. Okay. Any questions, comments, ahas? I can't see you. Nothing? Okay.
I wanted to say one thing. I'm reading the rookie. Hold on.
Oh, the rookie agent?
Yes.
How did you get your hands on that?
What'd you say?
That's not out to the public yet.
So my coach down here
Mm.
sees my potential. I'm very grateful, but I've been, everything you're saying is like clicking because again, it's shifting the mindset and, just kind of putting some boots on the ground and doing it. But he said,
You
Jamie,
show them the book. You show them the book. If you don't have it, talk to your market center. We're just
but there was
we have
one
a few, but yeah, go for
There
it.
was one thing in here that really stuck out to me today. I read the first 50 pages, was about what you just said, about breaking it down to, and that was, I don't know, I'm not saying that was a little confusing for me just to understand, but the way they broke it down in this book made it really simple to, I was like, wait, I only need to like get
Mhm.
2 appointments, like to,
Yeah.
okay, if I can't get 2 appointments, then I mean, I talk to everyone either comes talk to me no matter where I am. So there's something wrong. So I'm like, okay, 2 appointments for in the week or the month or however this
Yeah.
broke this down. I'm like, okay, so that just gave me kind of the go that, okay, that's where I'm going to start. And then my 2 will turn into 3. And then, you know what I mean?
Yes. I think going through those calculations is such an important thing. And that's what the business planning clinic does at a higher level. But I love that rookie book because it takes MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate, and just talks to new agents. So we're going to be, we just got our first little dose of them. They're coming out, I think, in a few days to the public. I think 9 days is what I saw, or 8
Can I
days.
read it to you off this?
Please do. Good.
Okay, so, because this is really what, and I'm gonna put a little, I didn't want to really make his book, but I'm gonna just tag that, page. So 100,000 net income. And then 33 operating expenses, which would be 20%. And then
Yep.
33,333 is your cost of sales. So they did 20%, 20%, which is 166 total GCI. And then divided by 10,000 would be your average commission amount up there, equals 17. And this is to make 100
Yeah.
net.
Good.
So 17 units total sold, divided by 75% closing conversion rate. So only if you close that amount,
Yeah.
is 23 total agreements needed, divided by 75% appointment conversion rate, equals 31 total appointments needed throughout the
Bingo.
year.
Yeah.
Throughout
That's less
the
than
year.
3 appointments a month. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's 3 appointments a month. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I love that. So they move it down to calculate 100,000. In MREA, they calculated 1,000,000, right? Which that's exactly what it's doing. Because most people's goal is to make 100,000 in this business. 9 out of 10 people say I want to make 100,000. So
But to think about only the 3 appointments a month is just mind blowing, and really gives you kind of a look to, you
it
know.
simplifies it.
Mm-hmm.
And we get so overworked we start over analyzing. What do I need to do? I need to know this. I need to know this. We need to talk to people. We need to lead generate and then convert those leads to an appointment. That's all we're asking you to do right now. Then after you get your appointments, then we'll figure it out. You need to get to the appointments. If you're not getting to the appointments, you can't make money in this business. So if you're learning, but you're not going to an appointment, you're not making money. You're not putting food on the table. And like you said, I say that if you need to do 24 transactions, you have to do 48 appointments. You have to do at least half, double, right? So that's 4 appointments a month. If you listen to this, okay, so it's 3 appointments a month is what they calculated, right, Jamie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's at a 75% conversion rate. So if you
Yeah.
were saying, yep, okay.
Okay, yeah. So here I'm gonna see, but this is really cool. Just think about this. If you have to do 3 appointments a month to make 100,000, if I came to you and said, I'm gonna hire you for $100,000, but you need to get me 3 appointments a month. Any way you can. All you have to do is get me 3 appointments to go to buy or sell. Would you take that job? For $100,000, I'm paying you $100,000.
Yep.
Yeah, I could do
Why
it
aren't
this,
you
I could
doing
get it. I know I feel like I could get it for you this week. Like, I'm like, I don't know. After I read that and you're saying this, I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, just go ask. And if they say no, go to the next person.
Drew, are you asking for a job for $100,000? Is that what you're gonna just do? Sorry, I'm not hiring.
Well, no, I was gonna say, I mean, if you did 1 a week, you're already ahead of the curve, That just
Well, that's what I mean. Like, we're willing to work for 8 hours for someone else. And it's not for us. But we're not. Actually, I'm gonna go off a tangent. Sorry. Phew. I want you to write down how many hours you worked in your business today. Just write a number. Just put it down on your paper. And multiply that by 5.
Today?
Today.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm going to clarify that. How much time did you spend lead generating for your business today? I'm going to change that. Did anybody do more than 1 hour of lead generating today? Raise your hand if you did more
Talking
than.
to your clients and lenders and.
No. Yeah, well, it's lead generating. It's getting appointments. It's not doing a transaction. Nope, that doesn't work, Diana. Sorry, you failed. You didn't work today. Raise your hand if you did more than 1 hour of lead generation getting an appointment. You don't have to have converted the appointment. Getting an appointment. Okay. Do you see? We're waiting for the business to come, but we're not doing the business. That's your only job now. Until you get someone under contract, it's your only job. Learning is wonderful and important. That's not your job. The thing that makes you money is getting you appointments. And when you say it's not working and you're not working an hour in your business or 5 hours a week, if you told someone I want to work 5 hours a week and make 100,000, they would laugh at you. They would say you're lazy. Right? Like, but we expect it and we wonder why aren't people just coming to me? Because you're not doing the freaking work. Okay, there you go. That's my thing. Any other comments or anything? I probably scared off all the people who don't know me. They all know, my people know that I'm crazy already, but poor Val has to work with me. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. So commit to success for systems of life. I forgot this is the next one. Perfect. Are you doing these systems? This is your business. This is lead generation. Conversations, contacts added, handwritten notes, social media engagement, enrichments, appointments, agreements, closings. Those things happen after you do these things. Okay? And it's so hard because this is our own business. We don't have a boss telling. So if I told you, you have to work and make 3 appointments a month, and I'll pay you 100,000, you do it for me. You do it for me. I'm going to even say, you don't even have to show up at the office. As long as you make me 3 appointments I can show up at, and they don't cancel on me, I'll pay you 100,000. Divide that by how many months, right? But why can't we do it for ourselves? So we just have to realize we just don't do that for ourselves as well. Keep your mindset focused and positive. Know why you're doing it, because it's a lot harder to do it for yourself than others. Challenges you and makes you uncomfortable at times. You have to know that. When you're working on another job, it's not all peaches and cream. You're doing a lot. I make Val do a lot of stuff she doesn't like. I'm just saying.
I was
She
just gonna
does.
say, except for here.
Yeah, no, she's all. I made her go with the front desk today. So yeah, no. And then one of the 6 personal perspectives is be accountable. That's what we're going to talk about. You have to put these things in your life, no matter where you are in your business. When you become a mega agent, you still have to be held accountable. I think Gary Keller has like 6 different coaches holding him accountable to different parts. Every area of his life, he has a coach. He's probably the most disciplined man I've ever met. Yet he has someone for every area of her people in place. That's why this is here. This is why we want to be in mentor groups that hold us accountability. Get accountability partners if nothing else. A productivity coach, if you have one, your mentor. And there's also KW MAPS coaches. That's why most top agents have a MAPS coach. They hold you accountable. I have one. I meet with her weekly. And I don't pay her cheap money for it. And she holds me accountable. Because the other people in my life can't, right? There are tools that can hold you accountable. 411, if you don't know it, go to a class on it. Time blocking, the one thing. I'm sure your offices have those. Those are the one thing, the book, and time blocking and 411, the one thing changed my business. That was part of my focus in doubling my business. Okay. I think we kind of talked on that already. Okay. What time is it? It's already 7:17. I've been talking a long time already. Okay. You have to, and this is what I tell all new agents, you're running your own business. Mindset and growth has to be a part of every day and every week and every month, because running your own business is tiring. And if you do not continue growing you're going to go backwards. So put yourself in places that you can learn. Couple ideas: preview homes, tour neighborhoods, understand amenities. How do you expect people to pay you more than 10 grand or more to represent them if you haven't freaking studied the market? We're waiting, right? Study the days on market. A lot of offices show you that data, hand it to you. We do it monthly in our business meetings. Learn it, study it, understand it. Learn new construction. I don't know what they mean by
Mary
codes.
Hope,
Yep.
someone has a question. What's a KW Maps coach?
Oh, good question. It is a business coach through Keller Williams. And a lot of times it's after you go through a mentor program and such, you can hire one. It's usually a monthly fee. And you meet with them weekly. A lot of times you get options of how to choose. I believe there is mindset, some that focus more on mindset and others focus on productivity now. They've changed. My maps coach, and I think there's over 3,000. No, sorry. There's about, no, I think there's about 800 coaches or more. There's about at least 3,000 people in maps coaching, probably 6,000, I think, actually. So it is just, they're trained a certain way with Keller Williams. They have to be at high levels of accountability. Our productivity coach is a maps coach as well. So he can teach, has learned that. But it's just, they have systems and expectations. They have to go through training and things like that. Does that answer it for whomever does it? I can't see. Okay. Of course, there's the annual events, a family reunion mega camp. And then, of course, Read the Millionaire, Real Estate Shift. One thing I recommend, where you're at right now, you're doing the right things, Ignite. Show up at the office when you can. I know a lot of you have all the other jobs. And if you want to make this work, find a way to get into the office, at least for your office meeting and that day. Find a way, because you're going to learn. And that's, so don't try to go to events and all of that right now. Save your money and show up. Do the things that are going to teach you. Okay. Here's some more courses. These are courses that Keller Williams does. Most market centers offer it throughout the year, but they're also going to be offering other things. 6 personal perspectives, bold, bold is one of the only, bold and career visionary are the only classes that they charge for. Quantum Leap is free. That's for youth, young people. Command your business online and command in your market centers. Profitability, business planning clinic, hiring. There's a lot of, you can look at all these different ones as well. So I always tell people, we actually probably have too much education and it gets a little overwhelming. Go to those who are mentoring you, coaching you, training you. What's my next thing I need to be doing? We went to those 6 main core things that you learn. You need to be proficient in. If you're struggling with one of those, go find a class on that. Like, you don't have to sit through every class. Well, if you're doing your 3 appointments a week, great. If you're not, go make your calls, right? Like, you need to know your stuff, but if it's in your head and you're not doing appointments, it doesn't matter. You're just paying a monthly fee and dues and all that. It's about $2,500 here a year. You might as well see it as just a school, because you're not making money if you're not doing the activity. We can't do that for you. We can't build relationships for you. Okay. I think is that it? Okay. That was the eval. I didn't put that in there. Sorry. And I can't go back, so I'm sorry. KW Cares, if you guys know this, that you can add to every commission to KW Cares. So you can choose how on every closing you can add. You can add $5, $10 just from the close. It could be part of your cost of sale. It's a very small part of it. In our office, Val is very involved in KW Cares and has been. So if you have questions about that, I believe KW Cares will be the legacy of Keller Williams Realty. I think that's Mo Anderson. I think it already is the legacy. They have given so much relief to so many people, and it's truly where the heart of the office, the Keller Williams is. I just put it right, have an automatic, you can choose. So every one of my closing is the same donation. You don't even have to think about it. But if you're making $10,000, you can give $10. Again, I'm a little blunt. Okay. KW Next Gen is for our youth. That's part of the what is the Quantum Leap? But they help youth learn how to think like this even from the young age. It's another amazing program that Keller Williams has, and they teach Quantum Leap. We're having Quantum Leap in September. Our coach, productivity coach, is also Quantum Leap trained. So if you have young people, they can come to that. Did you have something, Val? I saw you. No.
There's
You-
also ways to get more involved with KW Next Gen. You can give to that as well through your closings.
Mhm.
Yes.
So it's something near and dear as a former educator. So I support that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do the same thing that you do with KW Care. It's a and yet also if you have children from like 17 on, or even if you are younger too, show up at these Quantum Leaps. They're pretty amazing. Okay. What else am I almost, I feel like I'm almost at the end, but I have to look because I don't want to move on. Sorry. We got that. Plan for, okay. So they're saying plan for learning. If you have a calendar, we have calendars in our office, grab one, highlight what you're going to learn. Don't go to everything. Just plan once or twice, especially if you have another job. Decide on where you can do it. Figure out your day off. Plan it that way, okay? So again, it's great to want to do all this, but if you don't plan it, it's not going to happen. And I think that's the biggest part of that. Okay. Design your future plan. We've been talking a lot about that. This goes back to your big why. But for us, designing your future is part of who we are as our mission. So we not only want you to help you build careers worth having, we want you to make that 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 for your big why. But we also want to teach you how to have businesses that are worth owning. Bruce brought that up. He has a plan of owning 5 different businesses. That's a pretty cool plan. We want to help you build a career, a business within real estate that's worth owning. And the only reason we want to do those is because we want you to have lives worth living, experiences worth giving, not worth having, worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. We feel that, again, money is only is good for the good it can do. However, if you stop at the career worth having, first of all, you're not able to get to legacy. You can't leave something if you don't have a business. And if you're not giving those and you're not living your life to the full, you can't, because you haven't done it. We went back to that eulogy. How do you have a legacy if you haven't been living it out and giving it? So get real about your situation and get right about what you're doing. Bring a great sense of clarity, priority, and focus to your work. This is exactly what Jamie was saying, right? As long as you know what you need to do, like if you clear, like that's how simple it can be. We get in the weeds and in our mind about really what this business is. It's a simple business. We make it complicated. It's not an easy business, but it's a simple business. Bringing it all the way down, you just have to do 3 appointments this month. If you all did 3 appointments every month, all year, you're set. End of story. But you have to get real. If you're not making 3 appointments, that's fine. Then you have to change your goals. If you're not willing to ask people for appointments, you're not going to make money in this business. Getting real about your situation. If you have another job and you're just waiting for that big land, something to drop out of the sky, it's not going to if you're not looking for it. The guy that I was interviewing again today, he realized he worked 70 to 80 hours a week in Boston when he was working. He didn't have many close friends because he was gone. He said, I slept in Salem. That's what he told me. He's like, so he had to have a plan. That was the reality. It was a great idea to go your sphere and stuff. But if your reality is you don't have a sphere, you're going to have to go make one. So get real about your situation and get right about what you're doing. Bring a greater sense of clarity, priority, and focus to your work. If you did that, you would be successful. I'm telling you. So here's how you design your future. We've gone through all these. The value proposition. What is your value? What is your big why? Therefore, you can get your profit goal from there. Then, as we talked about with Jamie, number of transactions. Then we have to get real. Do you have a smart database? Do you have the people in there to make the appointments? How are you dealing with your money? Who is holding you accountable? And what are you doing every month to grow? If you looked at these every month and built your goals, you don't have to be in this full time to do that. The value proposition, the big why, the profit goal, those all you can plan that. You can be working a full job. Number of transactions you have to decide. Pouring into your database. Accountability is going to be it's one of the key ones that I think will make you or may not make you successful. And that will make you successful in this real estate business. So, okay, I'm going to go to this and then we're going to kind of regroup. Okay. How has your thinking changed? And I'm going to open this up afterwards, but we're going to read them. How has your thinking changed while you've been in this? What ideas or mindset were new? What do you feel different about? And what was meaningful to you today? How will your behaviors be different going forward? And what actions will you take? And what tools, models, or systems will you use? And how will you make them how will they make you accountable? And that's tools can be people. Okay. I'm going to get back here. So we're going to go back to the question. How has your thinking changed? And what ideas or mindsets were new? Anybody want to jump in? Bruce.
For me, I would say live by your schedule.
Tell
You
me
know,
more.
that's going to hold you accountable. It's going to, if you build your schedule, block your time correctly, and you follow it, then it holds you accountable by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's create a functional schedule that's going to hold me accountable and lead me towards my goals.
I love that. And I think to do that, you have to know your reality, right? Of where you're at. Okay. What do you feel different about after this class?
Little things every day is going to bring you to your big picture.
Like that. Any others? Okay. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What action are you going to take? I'd love either people put it in their chat or jump off a mute to say what behavior is going to be different or what action are you taking? You're done this is the last class. So what are you going to do different?
Getting 3
Go for it.
appointments tomorrow.
Bingo.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm gonna act like you're gonna be counting on me. And if it was
Yeah.
I would just go do it. Exactly. This is the last class.
This is the last class.
Oh no. It's okay.
That's a
Yeah.
good thing that you're sad. That means you didn't hate it.
They were
I
all
only joined
recorded.
They're all recorded? That's great.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
3 appointments. Okay, what else is there something else practical that someone's going to do? Okay. Oh, Diana said make believe that we're there with you. I'll come
Be
down to
more
Florida.
friendly.
What? Bruce?
Be more friendly. Every
Ooh.
person you talk to is an opportunity, whether it's to fill the funnel or to make that connection for real estate, or for me for insurance. You know, every transaction, every conversation you have is an $11,000 commission,
Mm.
either today or a year down the road.
I believe, and you know what, Val, you can collaborate with me. I believe it was Jason Abrams said, I don't have the notes from there, but how many people did you better their lives by being in their lives that day?
Right.
Was that about what he said, Val?
So I'm gonna pull up the note right now.
There you go.
Um,
She took
Basically,
notes.
what he was saying is that we all, good, bad, or indifferent, make an impact. If we choose to make an impact in a positive way, then we have brought light to somebody. He talked about locksmiths, like they're locksmiths.
Mm, unlocking parts of their
Yeah, you're unlocking a part of them that they may not realize they need to unlock. And in turn, as agents, you are unlocking an opportunity that they may not realize they have
mm,
or that they're qualified for because you are the expert, right? You have the skills, you have the knowledge, and those people that you have in your database, in your phone, in your sphere, they trust you. And I was saying this earlier to the folks in the room. If you have the opportunity to give back to those people in your phone, in your life, and can give them the kind of service that you would give your family, what better gift,
mhm.
right? Yeah, so you're here to help. And if you come from that perspective, you can't help but be successful.
Yeah. And I would, Bruce, I would challenge, of course you want to see everybody as no, you don't. I would argue you don't want to see everybody as a commission. I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. You see them as a person that you can help. We end up getting paid for doing that, which is amazing. But how can I fill somebody's cup today and make them a better person because they're being in my presence? That's going to change everything, because when we only see a commission, that's when, to be very honest, being in this business, that's why co-brokes can be terrible human beings to each other, because all they're thinking of is the commission, and they get so angry and livid if it falls apart. If we're seeing how can I better that next person, the commissions will come. Like I said, I had an amazing life and I didn't look at the commission ever at the beginning. Jamie.
I think so. I heard someone call it commission breath at one time, and
Yes.
I'm not really good at that. But one thing, I was thinking about is, you know how we procrastinate on things, like little things that we have to do? Well, I feel the same as for home buyers or sellers. They really want to
Yes.
take the next step, but they're scared and they don't know. So even if it's just running into someone to say, listen, I'm in real estate, and if you ever need to ask me something, or, you
Yeah.
know, then here you go, call me and I will help you and guide you through the way. And so it kind of, you know what I mean? But because people are nervous and then they put it off, they don't pick up the phone, you know what I mean? So it gets a little, and then they end up picking someone that's just random because they don't know. So
Yeah.
that, like, just saying, you know what, if you need anything, then here, this is what I do. Just like if
Right.
I was a dog groomer, same thing. Like, oh my, I'm a dog. If you need your dog, I'm not a dog groomer. But if you need, if I was a
Yeah.
dog groomer, I feel like I'd be telling everyone I'm a dog groomer.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, she put Val put the quote. This is what Jason Abram asks himself every day. How many people did I make smile today that otherwise would not have? Oof. That's a big ask, because we get kind of caught in our world. I also feel like, especially those of you who have dual career, you have so many opportunities of connections with people. I'm just telling you, more than other people, because you're in front of them. And if they trust you as a human being, now, if you're really not a good human being to them, they're not going to trust you. So you're going to have to change that first. But if you're pouring into other people, and they begin to trust you, once they know that you know what you're doing with real estate, which any of us could make people believe that no matter what with social media. Let's just say that, right? As long as they know you're in the business and you can do it, they're going to call you because they trust you already as that person, that coworker, or that person that helped them when they were in need. that's the fruits of us serving other people. And that's, to be honest, and I could go on, and I'm probably getting a little bit on my pedestal. That's the core of why Keller Williams. And to be honest, if that's not who you want to be and why you're doing this is not the right place for you. Because we don't believe in I can beat you, you can be. It is always adding value. I have lost a lot of money in my business to get things to the table. I've given up a lot of commission. I've also lost a lot of deals because remember, I started in 2009. Most people could not sell their house without writing a check because they owed too much. I had to do double the appointments because I had to tell them, do not sell with me. You can't afford to do that right now. But do you see how if I didn't care about them and I only wanted that check, anybody can promise anything, right? And then, but we have to help and serve. If we see this as a service industry of us helping other people, you will be successful in this business. But like Jamie said, is you have to put it out there and do it. You can't just wait and say, I'm going to be an amazing agent as soon as someone comes to me and tells me they're ready to buy or sell. We really do. We're in our head thinking, okay, when's that person going to be ready to buy or sell? When's my neighbor going to come knock on my door? Like Jamie said, they don't even know sometimes. They might not even realize it. They might not know that they're too scared, and they might not know that they can sell their house and make a profit and buy a home, and they could be able to pay off all their other bills and be debt free. And you've literally changed their lives. Because we're at the end, I want to share that you can change people's lives with real estate. You can. The amount of homes I've been in and the amount of lives I've been a part of, you get to see people's lives in a whole different way than anybody else gets to. You're walking into their homes. They're telling you their financial situation. There's a reason why they're buying or selling right now. It's usually a big event in their life. They've either had a baby and they've outgrown their place or whatever. They've lost someone. They've lost a parent. They've lost a spouse. They've gotten a divorce. They just got out of college and got their first big job, right? All big events. You are walking people through usually their most stressful times of their lives, and you get to be with them on a daily basis more than any other person in their life. You probably know what's going on more than their parents do. It's a little crazy, and I just want you to know you're going to be put in situations that if you don't care about people, you're not going to know what to do. I had a family that lost their son to suicide. I had helped them 10 years before buy their home. They wanted to get out of their home. They couldn't. They were in a financial bind. And I had been walking them through it a little bit. I was one of the first people she called. And you know what happened? Is our office brought 20 people in for Red Day and helped that family out. I didn't realize what a big deal it was because we see it on a regular basis. And this is to show, because I don't realize what a big deal these things are. And it wasn't a big deal. Like, I just sat there with them, right? They still are living in that home. They're still really struggling. They lost their son. I didn't. She sends me Christmas cards and letters all the time about how I changed their life. I don't feel like I did. They're still in their same situation. They have the loss. But whatever it was to be physically there with them, listening and caring, changed their life. You have that opportunity. People might not even know that they need you. So I just really exert you. We've said so much. Ignite, I can't even imagine Ignite every day for how many weeks. I know when we do it in our office and we do it only a few times a week, people are overwhelmed with it. You have received a lot of stuff really fast. You're not going to hold it all in and don't expect it. You can go back and figure out how to write a buyer's appointment and all that. What you do need to figure out, and this is why we did it at the beginning, what's your goals, and at the end, why are you doing this? If you're doing it because you just like houses and showing houses, this is not the business for you. I'm serious. This is not HGTV. You're going to happen to show houses. You're going to be able to dress up every so often. That's not the business we're in. We're in the business of service to other people, impacting their lives. And if we're not willing to do that, then we shouldn't be in the business. However, we have an amazing opportunity that, for me, changed our family's lives. It changed our lives. I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't making any money. And I was doing this for 1 to 2 deals just to get out of the house. And here, not only was I able to make a huge living, I was able to build a team that other people were able to grow. I was able to hire someone else to provide money for their family. We also now, I stepped out of my role in the team because I'm now full-time as a team leader. My husband was able to leave a job he wanted to leave. My daughter, who is expecting their second, was able to get out of her job, and she's in our team and making more money now than she was making with Fidelity. My sister-in-law is working for us remotely. My brother in Mexico, we're hiring to do our stuff. The amount of money we can provide him, even though it seems like a very small amount, changes his life and his daughter's life. Do you see where it's for the good that we can do? And yet, so many times, we're our own problem. We're not willing to go get those freaking 3 appointments because we're afraid that we might feel too pushy to someone. But you're not going to be pushy if you're asking them how you can help them. You're not calling them to say, do you want to buy or sell? Why would you call people to say, do you want to buy or sell? They're going to call, but because that's a really weird thing. No, I don't want to sell my house. If someone came and knocked on my door, and there are people who do it, and but the most of the time I'm gonna be like, no, I love my house. Stay away, right? But if we're saying, how can I help you? What do you need help with? Oh, you need a plumber? I have one. And you know how you have it is your agents in your office will, in our office, there's 400 agents. You just ask and you get 15 options. How can I help you? Your partners, Diana was talking about lenders and stuff. How can I help you? Your title companies, how can I help you? You know what? My lenders send me business because I help them. We have a relationship. You are in the relationship building. You are in the service building business. If you are not doing that, you're not doing real estate. You don't have a business. You're doing transactions. So, okay, I'm going to stop talking because wow, I just got on a rant. So I apologize. Any thoughts or questions? Diana.
Can I just say something real quick? So I forget who it was, but everyone's always saying, wear your name tag, wear your name tag, wear your name tag. So I try so hard and I mimicked the name tag that my husband has for Applebee's. He's the general manager for 33 years. Everybody knows my husband. I wear my name tag. I was buying a 3X dress for my special needs adopted daughter. She was in the car. I went in. This lady and I became friends immediately. I don't even know what happened. My daughter came to the door. She welcomed her in, offered her a cookie and a drink. Make a long story short, an hour later, she's like, I want to sell my home with you. I was buying a dress.
Yeah.
She's like, I've interviewed 3 agents and they were just so full of themselves. And you are so down to earth. And I like you. Long story short, she got an apartment. I thought it was going to be a year from now. She's been over to my house twice. She asked me how my turtle is. Like, it's just,
Relationship.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Jason Abrams, gosh, we keep on saying this but that's probably because it was the last thing we have. If you haven't listened to Jason Abrams too, he's probably the easiest person to listen to. He said people more than anything, they've done research. They want to choose an agent they feel comfortable with. Not more, not. Isn't that crazy? They feel comfortable with.
So one of the other quotes that I loved that I put in my notes is, he said, "Don't aim for perfection. Be more human more often with more people.
Hmm.
Just be kind."
And you
Be
don't have to
yourself.
be, yeah, and you don't have to be 5, 10 years in the business to do that. Do you see what, like, don't get in your head. What else? Any other things? Bruce.
I just want to share a story from yesterday. And I was doing a showing for someone else, and the client says to me, and this is for Diana, he says, Diana came to my yard sale, asked if we were thinking about selling the house 4 times. He says, the reason we went with Diana is she would bring us maple syrup and cookies, and for Val as well, all these pop buys. Diana must have done half a dozen of them. And the guy says, that's why we did business with Diana.
Bingo.
So, second transaction, congratulations, Diana.
Good job. Thanks, Bruce, for sharing that. Any other things? I'd love to hear, not from just this session, but what are you going to take from this? Or what is your biggest aha from, or yeah, what are you going to take now starting Tuesday? Because we're on vacation, right? The next 3 days. You're allowed to take vacation, by the way, too. Most people won't tell you that. What are you going to do Tuesday that you wouldn't have done before Ignite? So many quiet people on here.
I'm gonna
Gotta
wear
lead
my,
generate.
Yeah.
Bingo.
I'm gonna wear my
Okay.
name tag every day
There you go.
and dress in something simple. Like I always thought this when I first got in, but I used to change. But when I was little, I used to change my clothes like all the time. And living on the farm, that really isn't allowed, right? that was just me. My mother used to say, if you change those clothes one more time, I'm gonna pull all the hair out of your head. So it was kind of a joke, right? But I feel like we should wear, like, like you said, dress nicely, but something, our hair pulled back in black, with a name tag, like, so we look professional, like you said, all the time. But from the minute I leave the house, and I go to the office quite a few, it's right down the street from me, but every day leave the house and just have um the conversations, like, reach, because people come up to me and talk to me naturally, whoever it is, but just let them know that I am an agent and how can I help you. Sometimes
Mm.
it gets a little, and I know that everyone's experienced this. You tell them that you're a real estate agent, they're like,
Yeah.
like, oh, like you're bad. And I'm like, "No, not me. I'm not bad. I'm going to help you." You know what I
I
mean?
just
But
want to help.
yeah, it's this weird, like they think you're just after the money and I'm, or whatever it is, or, and that's just weird to me.
Yeah. Perfect. I just put in, just so you know, if anybody needs me, here's my contact information too before we left. Drew, I'm gonna call on you. What are you gonna take from Ignite? Because you got the balloon, so and Raina too. So you're next. There's your
There it is
graduation
for everybody.
balloon. That's Val.
I don't know if I'll try to articulate this when we're talking about the big why. That's like been a lifelong struggle. Why do I get up every day? Um, and it really hit me. Um, I was showing. Sorry.
Nope. Don't worry, Val's coming with tissues, so you're set.
So I've got a picture of my youngest niece that fell out of my backpack when I was setting up here in the office.
Mm.
And Val used to be a preschool teacher to my oldest niece. I don't have any kids of my own, and it just really hit me like I'm dual career. In my other career, I've just been trying to survive and just like, how do I just make the payments for the next paycheck, And the mindset of the big why and just all of Ignite and what we've been talking about, I'm like, it unlocks the opportunity to want more.
Mm.
And all of my nieces and nephews live way on other parts of the country. And so that's gonna be my big why, is to be able to visit each of them at least once a year.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Okay, who's next? Who's next?
I definitely want to work harder on my mailings. I really like sending out the golden letters.
Right? Rena, anything? There we
Can
go.
I just comment on Drew's real quick? Sorry, Drew,
Yeah.
that was amazing. This has been like the best. I'm so glad that I signed up for this last Ignite. So glad. I don't know how I got the email because I hadn't seen any, but I feel that the big why, right? Even some days, like why to get out of, put my 2 feet on the ground. And I live in this house by myself. So all I gotta do is walk down the hallway to my bedroom. And then I put on the TV and I'm like, some days I don't even do it. But recently, I don't know who said it to me. I don't know if it was one of my mentors for my writing or for, but to do little things, to do little, so we're saying about the 3 appointments, right? Which may seem alone, but even one phone call or one contact, and then that starts, this started me to, and now I'm reading, I'm doing, you know what I mean? I'm doing one section to, and then you just start to feel better. Now I'm starting to maybe eat a little bit better because I put on a couple pounds. Like it just kind of shifts your mind to, you know what I mean? And then you get going a little bit because I'm right with you. Like, what is my, why am I putting my 2 feet on the ground? Because my family is okay and set, and I have a teeny little bit of money set aside. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have to work, but I'm like, no, I need a purpose. And once you do the little things, it kind of gets you going. It does. I don't know how or why, but it does. So, but thank
Well,
you. Drew.
you need to always be growing. And I think 1% better. That's all you need to do. Because after 100 days, you're 100% better. Do you see that? 1% better today. Okay. Who else?
The whole class has just been super inspiring, and
good.
like it's just been really great. Like for me, anyways. It's been a lot for sure to work all day and then come home, but
Yeah.
even up until tonight, when you were just like, all you got to do is go get 3 appointments. It's like brings it back down, and it seems attainable. And I'm glad I did it, and I think I've grown a lot just from doing the class. So
I love it. Good. Okay. Any last ones? I don't want to. Oh, good.
Rose,
So for me,
go.
I easily get overwhelmed. Like I enjoy all the education and all the information, and it's like, okay, now what? But for me, I was reading like the one thing, and it puts everything into perspective. So like even just coming up with the big why, and then also creating like a time block and just scheduling myself an appointment with myself to do my lead gen or to walk my neighborhood and meet my neighbors is probably going to be my goal for this weekend, and just start there, and consistency.
Love it. Did you just put the balloon behind her? I saw that, Drew. I love it. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you all. I know it's a Friday night of a vacation. I feel privileged that I got to be with you guys on your last one. As I said, you don't have to be in my market center to reach out to me, please. I do this because I've been blessed with so much because of this company. I truly believe that. I wouldn't be here. And so if I can do anything for anyone, please let me know. And hopefully I'll get to see all of you at some time. Of course, my crew, you keen people, you have to show up. But I know it's harder. They live an hour from our office, so that's why there are over the mountain and through the woods office. Wonderful. Well, thank you all, and have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah,
Take
thank
care.
you guys for being here, and
Yeah.
know that you're all amazing, and just go live your purpose. Go get them. Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you
Take
so
care,
much.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.